New babies are on the way. Those are ultrasounds, what you're seeing over there. Yeah.
All right, well, this next story is uncomfortable. Not because Dave Rubin and his husband are expecting children. I think that's totally fine. I have no problem with that, but it's all the chatter surrounding it. So Dave Rubin announced very recently that he and his husband will be having 2 children via surrogates. So there are 2 surrogates, and the right-wing audience that he has cultivated for himself is just as cruel as you would expect them to be. Now again, the entire story is uncomfortable for me. I know a lot of people have been enjoying the chatter online, but it makes me uncomfortable. In fact, it was uncomfortable from the very start when Rubin not only felt the need to make this announcement on his show, but went on to explain how the process works to his notably anti-gay audience. Let's watch.
I know most of you guys that are watching this are now on the more conservative side of things, and I never see any real issue with conservatives anymore and gay people. But I know this is like a little bit weird for some people to hear, right? I get it. And by the way, to me, at some level, this is a little bit weird. Like I've had to learn a lot of stuff and go to a lot of doctors, and it's cost a lot of money, and it's been a long sort of adventure. But basically what you're seeing there, one more time with those ultrasounds, would you? Those are 2 different wombs, and those are 2 different babies. We got 1 egg donor, so you gotta think about this. If you need to stop right now and grab a Sharpie and make a chart, you could. So basically we've got plenty of sperm around here. That's one thing, right? So there's a lot, I'm just saying, there's a lot of sperm. We didn't have a shortage of sperm, so we've got sperm. So we had half the battle, right? We had half of what we needed, but we needed an egg. Our feeling was that we wanted 1 egg donor, meaning you get a whole bunch of eggs. Well, hopefully you get a whole bunch of eggs from the egg donor. And then we would take several, we'd split the eggs. So let's say you got, I think the first time around we got like 18 eggs. And then you take the sperm, we would split them. So now there's like 9 and 9. I'm giving you the rough estimates here. And you would then inseminate them. And then you hopefully from that, some of it takes, some of it doesn't take. But then in essence, you have these embryos, and then you need surrogates. So the surrogate obviously is the woman who then carries the child.
Listen, it's one thing to make the announcement. It's risky to make an announcement like that. Again, when you've cultivated a right-wing, pretty anti-gay audience, especially with the backdrop of all of the anti-gay, anti-transgender, anti-whatever legislation that's happening on a state-by-state basis. All these red states are like fully engaged in the culture wars. So on one hand, I kind of understand why he's kind of like, he seems terrified in making this announcement, and I get why, but like, just make the announcement and move on. Like if you feel the need to explain it to your audience, I'm trying to be polite here, just don't talk about how there's plenty of sperm in your house. Like it's just, look, it's not even for me. Like I don't want to hear about it, right? But anyway, he seemed nervous, and he had good reason to be, because his audience was incredibly cruel. And while some on the left are kind of gloating about it because it's like, karma, you get what you deserve, it makes me really sad. Like this whole story makes me really, really sad, because at the end of the day, whatever you think about Dave Rubin, put that aside. He's surrounded with people who think he's like this terrible person, this sinner. And it's one thing for him to take that heat, but I don't want kids to be around that. That makes me really sad. And this should be a moment where, 2 people celebrate expanding their family. But again, and yes, he did this to himself. He's surrounded by people who write comments like this. So I went to the video where he makes the announcement, and I just decided to grab the top comments, okay? These are the first comments that you see. So unbelievably selfish to bring children into the world, denying them a mother. Children are not just something you pay for to fulfill some desire you have. They are a gift, and you are absolutely not in a relationship that is conducive to this gift. I am so disappointed. I had such respect for you. Well, Jane, I never had respect for you, and you don't deserve respect. What a hateful, disgusting comment to put on someone's video. But this isn't surprising. And by the way, you know what a child needs? A child needs love. okay? A child needs support, a child needs love. I have, despite whatever feelings I have toward Dave, I have no doubt that they would be loving, and I think he'd be a good parent. I just hope he keeps his children away from these types of people, because I would hate to hear that their children, are in an environment where they're absorbing this kind of commentary. Another person writes, if children need a father in their lives, they also need a mother, so sad. Another person writes, so it's okay for you and your partner to buy 2 children and then let them grow up without a mother in their lives? Another person writes, confused, no, I get it. It's the 2 babies that'll be confused. Don't speak for me, 2 dads is not right, this is not right. Who's the mom going to be? A child needs a mom, a female mom, this is sick and you can't make this normal. I mean, it just goes on and on. I'm grossed out by these comments. I don't really want to read any more of them, especially because we also have videos to get to. So before we get to the Glenn Beck video, I want to go to these 2 individuals who I very luckily had not heard about until, unfortunately, today. Edward Zoll and Lauren Witzke, who decided to unleash one of the most bigoted attacks I've ever heard. Let's watch.
Just see what they said about that pedophile couple that are trafficking kids. What's her name again?
Are you talking about Dave Rubin?
Oh, Dave Rubin, that's it, yeah. Dave Rubin, yeah. Coming soon, baby 1. Where did they steal this kid from? That's 2 men. Well, 2 men are gay.
Yeah,
they can't have kids.
It's got to pop out first, and then that's when they snatch them.
Oh, that's when they steal it.
Yeah, that's when they steal it. But that's like plotting a crime right there. So somebody should probably do something about that.
Sheriff Opile? Should we call Sheriff Opile? Someone needs to deal with this.
We should call somebody, because I have a kidnapping in process.
Seriously, look, what is he crying for? Is he crying because he got away with it almost? Look at this. These 2 men who cannot reproduce. The only thing they can reproduce and then create is more debauchery and AIDS. They can spread AIDS.
I've got very little love for Dave Rubin for reasons that I've outlined on the show multiple times. With that said, those 2 disgusting human beings should be sued for defamation. They claim that Dave Rubin and his husband are pedophiles. There's absolutely no evidence at all in regard to that accusation. And they also went on to say that they're spreading AIDS. I mean, but also at the same time, how could you not be frustrated with Dave? Was the money worth it? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? I get it. You get to have a nice big house. I'm sure you'll have a night nurse. I'm sure you have all the resources necessary. I get it. But is it worth it? Because what is life really about? Is it about surrounding yourself with these terrible people who think that you're a second-class citizen, who think that you're like a child predator because you want to start a family with your husband, just so you can make a buck? Is it worth it? I don't get to turn your back on all the people who you used to call your friends, people who actually cared about you, people who looked out for you, people who were happy for you when you had good news to announce. He turned his back on all of that to make a buck. And look, it blows my mind that he would make that decision. It blows my mind that anyone would make that decision. But with all that said, it doesn't take away from the fact that the people attacking him right now, the audience that he cultivated, make me sick. And I don't think that it's anything to gloat about. I don't think it's anything to celebrate if you happen to be on the left. So that's not the only video. Let's now go to his boss, Glenn Beck, who felt the need to bring him on to engage in questioning, essentially make Dave apologize for his life decision. Let's hear what Glenn Beck had to say about it.
You know me, I'm a deeply religious man, and my religion says man and a woman, that is the basic building block of family. We're probably the clearest church on this because it's been in our doctrine for 200 years. So we're very clear on that. But that's marriage and relationships, and that's what I believe. But I also know God created you just like He created me, flaws and all. I believe I have a gene, they've never found it, that makes me very susceptible to alcoholism because it runs in my family. So does craziness, but it runs in my family. The same thing with things that I don't understand. And if we can't have a conversation about things that we don't necessarily understand and probably won't until we get to the other side, we have to just work it out together and be able to say, Dave, I disagree, or I don't know what the answer is, but I love you.
I love you. I'm gonna compare alcoholism to, you being gay. I mean, in that rant that he went on right there, he just, again, seemed to double down on what Rubin's audience has to say, right? Like how he compares Rubin's sexual identity to alcoholism. Beck says that Rubin is flawed because he's gay, right? Because he's gonna have children with his husband. And that's his boss. That's the guy that Rubin works for. And for people who don't feel any empathy for him or sympathy for him, I get it. Especially because after all this went down, Rubin, just not only made a fool out of himself, but somehow managed to twist this as the left being intolerant. Let's watch.
I get why the right has these, what I would argue are often legitimate fears, because the left does not stop eating civilization.
Correct.
And think about what an unfortunate position that puts us in, because then someone like me can make an announcement like this, then good, decent, thoughtful conservatives, some of faith, maybe some not of faith, whatever it is, could reach out and say, boy, this is what an interesting opportunity, and sure, it's a little different, and whatever, all the love that you and the Blaze guys and everyone else are giving me. And then there's this other part that's legit, which is, if we move the line, they're gonna keep going. And I don't know what the answer to that is.
Dave.
I honestly don't, because that has nothing to do with me.
No, it has everything to do with you, Dave. It has everything to do with you. And it shows you the gross selfishness that he has this worldview through, right? Because what he's arguing there is, no, look, conservatives, I totally get why you're a little put off by this. I totally get why you're worried, because the left, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. I mean, what's next? We're gonna have rights for transgender people? I mean, I only liked the left when they were fighting for my rights. But guess what, Dave? The right still hates you for who you are. And that is the environment that he has created for his children. Okay, people who call themselves friends of Dave Rubin, who on his show, in his face, will tell him, no, I wouldn't go to any type of celebration that you're having with your husband. Nah, I probably wouldn't go to anything that would celebrate Dave Rubin's identity as a gay man, which I would assume includes baby shower, baby's birthday, I don't know. Anything that would be supportive of the fact that Dave Rubin happens to be a gay man with a husband who has gone to extreme lengths, by the way, to expand his family. Again, it should be a joyous occasion for him. It should be an awesome occasion for him. But the very people, and I want to make sure that he is very clear on this. The very people who wish him ill are the people that he has cowered to in the name of profit, in the name of money. And I don't know, look, everyone's different, okay? I personally would forego making more money just to stay in an environment where I am around people I genuinely like, where I get to work with people I call friends, where I get to, speak my mind without any fear of retaliation. To me, that is priceless. And I think I've proven myself. I've been at TYT for 15 years despite giant offers from other companies. I don't say that to brag. I say it because there's more to life than making money. And the thing that pains me the most about all of this is just thinking about the kids, man. Kids are super sweet. They're so innocent. They haven't experienced the cruelty of humanity yet. And I hate that they're gonna be brought into an environment where people think less of them, less of their parents, less of their family, simply because they can't get over the hate in their hearts. And to me, that is not something to celebrate or gloat about.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.